Alrighty, this is Fort Wayne fella Nick back here with another lovely, exciting video. Now, today I am at the 122nd Fighter Wing of the Air National Guard here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a lovely, lovely day here. It is Christmas Eve, but since I had some time off, I thought I would come by and show everybody the Heritage Park, which includes a lot of the retired and older aircraft that used to fly with the 122nd right here in Fort Wayne at the Fort Wayne International Airport. Let's go ahead and check some of these older planes out. Now, I don't really know exactly all of the details about each one of these aircraft. I could tell you the basics, and I'm sure some of you guys in the comments will know more about each one of these old warbirds than I do. But this has been a fighter wing, so you're not going to see the big cargo jets. You're not going to see the C-17s and those kind of things. You're mainly going to see close air support, airborne stuff, fighter jets, A-10’s, F-16s, F-4 Phantoms, those kind of things. And again, I don't know all of the details. Now, what I do know about this fighter wing is it was established in 1942 and has gone through quite a few different aircraft, as you can see here. And I think each one of these displays represents the aircraft that they have flown over the years. Now, I think we're here looking at an A-10. These used to be their main airplane, their main aircraft for this particular wing. And I believe within the last few years, they have retired these aircraft out. I think Congress has decided that they no longer need these aircraft, especially an Air National Guard unit. And they have transitioned to F-16s, which I don't think they've fully transitioned to yet. But we no longer see the A-10’s like we used to. These poor old things, they were the greatest. I mean, you could hear them a mile away and it didn't matter, because that Gatling gun right there, it pretty much made mincemeat about 5 seconds into any low pass flight, and it could chew up armored vehicles. It could pretty much mow down anything on the ground or in the air for that matter. But these were great. I'm sure the boys on the ground really appreciated seeing these things come flying in. Ugly birds, ugly birds, but they got the job done. And as somebody that lived here in Fort Wayne, not seeing these guys in the air anymore is kind of sad. They're just, they hold a special place in everybody's heart. You see one of these flying around and you think, yeah, I think the boys on the ground will be safe. If I remember right, these had a heck of a role in Desert Storm and the Gulf Wars. If you were pinned down and you needed air support, you saw a few of these coming in, you knew that you probably had a fighting chance. So love these planes. So if I see anything here that looks like it's worth pointing out, I'll try to. But if you guys in the comments notice anything, let me know. The question I had that maybe somebody can answer is, what is the film on those windows? Is that a paint or a glaze? I know when they put them out here, they want to protect the interior the best they can from the elements, but I just don't know what that is. And I've seen it on all these aircraft, and I was wondering, what in the world is that? So if anybody knows, jump in the comments. As you can see, it's starting to peel off. That's, see if you can zoom in on it. Whatever that film is, it's starting to come off and you can see through the glass again, but I'm assuming that it's some sort of protective film that kind of keeps the sun and the UV out of the interior, out of the cockpit. But then again, there's that big, beautiful gun. Now, the reason this paint looks like a snake is because the 122nd, I think their mascot or their call signs were the black snakes. Quite the nose job, quite the nose paint job there. But again, these are just beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Nothing pretty about them, and they were something to see. I don't know if Congress has gotten rid of them altogether, if there's still some units flying these, but man, there's something else. And there's some bird poop on the tires, so that's always cool. show you the sign here. If you want to press pause and read the sign, get yourself a little information there. Kind of runs over exactly what these are and maybe what this particular aircraft was as well. Feel free to pause. We'll keep on moving. So just a quick question for everybody in the chat or the messages. What is the difference between an A-10 Thunderbolt and an A-10 Warthog? I'm sure a Google search could reveal it, but what fun would that be? If anybody's worked on these planes or have seen them or know somebody that's worked on them and understands them better, feel free to let us know. So as we're moving along here, we're coming up upon an F-16. Now, I haven't been out here in quite a while. They've moved things around, added some aircraft, pulled some off. But yeah, I mean, it's to see this is the aircraft or one of the variants of the aircraft that they're now flying here. Again, the Air National Guard kind of gets told what they're going to fly and when they're going to fly it. And I don't think they've transitioned all the way into F-16s. They used to have F-16s, I believe, back in the 90s. And then they kind of got put onto the Warthogs or the Thunderbolts, the A-10s. And now they're back onto the F-16s. So, yeah, if anybody has any information on the different variants, that's cool. But just being able to walk around these things and check them out, it's something to see. If you're ever in Fort Wayne, this is all free. This is out here by the Fort Wayne International Airport, right off of Ferguson Road. You can walk around, get an idea of kind of what these aircraft look like up close. I would not want to be the guy who has to work on hydraulics on these things. Oh my gosh. A lot going on inside there. And other than the bird poop, it would appear that they're pretty well maintained out here. I mean, I don't see any signs of rodents or birds other than the bird poop. But I mean, anybody that knows anything about aircraft know that these go downhill pretty quick. It doesn't take long once they go outside in the elements and they stay out here. It doesn't take long for them to fall apart. But these seem to be holding up quite well. This one might not be that old, quite honestly. There is the namesake, the black snakes. They used to be FW on the tails. Now I believe they've transitioned to IN. Again, somebody in the comments that knows more about that can let us know why that is, but that seems to be the situation now. There you go. If you want to pause, get your read on, we can do that. Now we're going to get into some of the airplanes that I'm not 100% familiar with. I believe this is an F4. Can't really get a real good look at it from here. Let's see if we can. There we go. I'll learn to run the gimbal at some point. But I believe these were Vietnam era aircraft. Let's see if we can get a better look up here. These are Vietnam era aircraft, Cold War, that kind of stuff. Oh, there we go. I'll get her figured out eventually. But again, these all represent the kind of aircraft that the 122nd flew over the course of many decades. Again, they've been in existence since, I believe I heard 1942. There we go. Come around here and see if we can get a better look at it. So as I'm looking at this aircraft, I happen to notice something. It would appear that there is a tail hook right below there. Now, if it's an Air Force plane, I don't know why it would have a tail hook. I assume those are for carrier landings. But it seems to have something there. It very much looks like one. So Again, here we go. Comment monkeys, get in there and tell us why that is. Especially for an Air National Guard plane, although it probably wasn't always an Air National Guard plane. Just the fact of the matter is, it looks like there's a tail hook on that aircraft, and I don't really know why. But these are pretty cool to still see these out here, just kind of sitting around for people to kind of look at and enjoy and see. I mean, these aircraft are pretty much all but gone. I can remember hearing back in the day that the last of the few of them they would use remotely for training practice when I lived in Las Vegas, and the Nellis Air Force Base would put on an open house. They were flying some F4s remotely and said the last few of them were scheduled to go out to the Nevada test range and become target planes. So they were going to fly those out there and give the boys during the red flag missions something to shoot at. So there may not really be very many operational F4s at all, for all I know. Last time I saw one was 2010. So it's good to see one still here. Quite an interesting park here. And again, it sits right outside of the 122nd gate going into their base. But this is free to the public. You can access it off of Ferguson Road. Check out some of these other aircraft they have here. And all these tail numbers, I'm sure, mean something. I should have done more research before I came out here, but I just thought I've got time. It's really kind of a cool park to walk around. They've really done it well. If you just kind of pan around here, you can get an idea of some of the different aircraft that are out here on display. Really well done. I believe we're getting back into some of the Cold War, Korean air, Korean combat, vintage era aircraft here. This one, I believe, is a F-100 Super Sabre, which we're directly underneath. I'm not that familiar with these aircraft. I'm sure they were badass in their day. This one's been here for quite a while. So the purpose of this video is just kind of get you up close, get looking at some of the intricate parts of these aircraft that you probably don't normally get to see. What is that? Again, another hook, it would appear. I don't know if that's just for tying down or... I don't know. Requires a lot more research here, but I'm sure some of the veterans that have maybe served with these aircraft or knew somebody, maybe a father or grandfather that used to serve with these, can tell us more about what they are. But they're preserving them out here in Fort Wayne, and I'm glad they are. It's kind of stuff that we want to see, that we don't want to have to rely on history books to be able to take a look at. All right, bonus coverage. Everybody likes bonus coverage. Another aircraft that I had missed right here on the opposite side of the lot. This here is the F-80 CT Shooting Star. There you go for your reading delight. I'm too cold to sit out here and read all that, so I will do that when I edit the video. But this is just another one of these cool planes. And again, I'm just, it's the little things that get me. What is that film that they put on those windows? And is it removable? And does it work? No, just another cool aircraft. You can always kind of tell the technology based on the landing gear. Some of them look like they have drum brakes, which is probably still the norm today, but it's a little bit more advanced technology. Walk over here and check it out a little bit closer. I don't believe there's any brakes on the front of this one. Just your very basic strut. Very cool. The reason I have these close-up, zoomed-up shots is because anybody can see the aircraft, but I'm trying to get like all the little rivets and imperfections and things that you don't see from a distance. It's a very, very cool aircraft. I love it. So next up, we have the F-84F Thunderstreak operating from 58 to 71. So that might tell you why I'm not that familiar with it. Get closer here and see if we can get some information on it. I can tell you that this has been here for quite a while because the sign is pretty deteriorated. But if you want to pause it, check that out. Again, another one of these cool vintage aircraft that you're just going to read about and see in war documentaries. So being able to come out here and take a look at them, I'm very glad we get to do this. Just the technology on some of these aircraft, considering 1958, I mean, we weren't all that far removed from propeller planes. And some of the landing gear is quite vintage, if you will. But it got the job done. I mean, engineering at its best. If you think of some of the cars that we were riding around in 1958, and you could put together a jet, that's something. Cool stuff. All right, let's move on down here. Let's see what we got. Now, this one here is going to be the last of the aircraft. Again, these represent the aircraft that used to fly with the 122nd. That's why they call it Heritage Park. I can't tell you how neat it is just to be able to see these planes out here. What would really be neat is if we could find some people that had flown these and could tell us a little bit more about them. But just, you know, taking a look, seeing that they've been preserved here. And again, it's right here in Fort Wayne, out here in the public where you can come see it. I suggest that you come when it's a little bit warmer. Again, this is Christmas Eve 2024. It's about 35 degrees out. But, well, you know, you got time off, come out here. Bring the family. It's a nice little park. So this is an F-86A Sabre, as you guys can read. Apparently it only flew for 2 years. But again, if you want to get in there and hit the pause button, get yourself a little education. I know I'll do that later when I'm not out here freezing my backside off. Just really, really cool lines, cool planes for the time. So if you're ever out this way, come check out some of these old warbirds. You know, there's some things you can get closer and see that there's some deterioration. But really considering its age, you know, getting close to 80 years old, I'd say that it's holding up a lot better than some 80-year-old people I know. Quite the impressive little collection of aircraft we got. Now here we have a supposed future display of an F-51D Mustang. Apparently, that never materialized because there is none. And because the sign is so old and worn out, I'm going to say that future display is not coming. But what we do have is a Hummer. And apparently it's under restoration. So some of the things are waiting to be fixed. Some of them are probably never going to be fixed. And some of the best stuff is the stuff that doesn't get fixed. It just looks the way it did when it came off the battlefield or off the line, and I think it should stay that way. But again, very cool park. Very neat place to come take family. Shelter houses, you can come have a picnic, sit amongst the aircraft, let the kids run around. Just a really, really neat display. If you made it this far, thank you. Hit the old like and the comment. I love for the comments. And if you subscribed, I can't even talk, it's so cold. Subscribed. Act like I know how to speak English. Feel free to do that as well. It helps me know that this is actually being seen and that people enjoy this kind of stuff. And I will make more of it as we go. I appreciate you. Thanks.